What's up, everyone? I'm Ethan. I'm here with my boy Garrett,
What's going on?
and welcome to HIVE Sports, where we talk all things NFL and college football. Today, we have another episode of our Freshman Spotlight series, where we break down film of some of our favorite incoming freshman prospects.
Today we're going to be breaking down Talyn Taylor, incoming four-star wide receiver to the University of Georgia. He played his high school ball in Illinois, where he led Geneva to the 6A title game as a senior. And man, this guy has some impressive stats, and he's very wiry, and he's an impressive route runner, man. A lot to like with him. But what are your initial thoughts after glancing over his profile, E?
Yeah, I mean, not the biggest frame at 6 foot 190, but with that track background, we know he has that explosive movement and is going to be a fast runner. And man, he finished his senior year with 84 catches for 1,600 yards and 24 touchdowns. Like 24 touchdowns over what, 10, 11 games you have in high school. Super impressive. So definitely excited to get into the film.
Yeah, in Georgia, man, they could use another stud wide receiver coming in there. They haven't had one since Lad McConkey. So excited to see if this kid is next in line. And
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like Georgia's wide receiver room is going to be a little sneaky this year. They brought in Zachariah Branch, Noah Thomas. Obviously Talyn Taylor is going to be was a big signing for them at wide receiver too. So definitely excited to see how they use them this season, if at all, and if not in the near future.
100%.
Just fast, yeah.
Yeah.
Always nice to see some separation. And when I'm scouting wide receivers, a couple things I look for are, catching the ball with your hands. Can you make somebody miss? Right, like wide receivers are the position where one on one you have to make that first tackler miss because you might catch the ball over the middle. Now you have to beat the DB, beat the linebacker. Ooh, that was a nasty move right there too. And then another thing too is just high pointing the ball. We often see guys in the NFL who have, the biggest frame. Think of Quentin Johnson, right? 6'5". But if you don't have that high point ability, it really doesn't matter. And so we see guys who, are 6 feet who can high point a ball better than a 6'5", wide receiver and be a much better red zone threat. So those are a couple things that I like to see.
Yeah, I love it.
Ooh,
And what
good route
really,
running.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. What really stood out to me when watching this kid is his route running ability. It's just so refined for a kid his age.
Yeah, and it's funny. I'm seeing a few instances of press on him, which I wouldn't recommend, obviously, with his route running ability. But it's nice to see his releases off the line of scrimmage too, because oftentimes those are skills that you don't learn a lot of in high school, and it takes a coach in college to kind of add some release techniques to your repertoire. But to see him get off pretty clean, even from press man, and then a lot of these double moves too, he's really successful with.
Oh yeah, his release reminds me a little bit of Jetta's release. Obviously not not to that level, but just kind of the same style. He's very wiry and long and explosive, kind of similarly built as well.
Yeah, and it's funny. Week 0, we watched that Kansas State game against Iowa State, and Jace Brown stood out a lot with his route running, and you know Talon's similar size. Jace Brown's 6 foot 180 was really good at those double moves in Week 0 against Iowa State. So that's not a bad guy he could emulate too.
I like that comp, yeah. You see some after the catch ability too, which I know you already mentioned. It's getting more and more important in today's game. As more wide receiver screens are incorporated, you got to have playmakers out wide.
Yeah, well, it was a great high point on that previous catch there too. He kind of just floated in the air as he high pointed that ball, which is super impressive.
And the game speed stands out, man. Like I know he has some limited track experience if this video decides to
That's okay.
buffer.
That's okay. I think we're able to see it, but
The
definitely
game
agree.
speed is there, man, for sure.
Definitely agree. And his track numbers, although really good, didn't jump off the page. So to see him, almost look faster on the field than he did on the turf or on the track turf, is impressive too. And it's nice to see him on special teams here as a kick returner. I believe he had 2 touchdowns as a kickoff returner. So that's really important too, especially as a young guy who's trying to get on the field early on in his career.
Yeah, for sure. Added to his 24 receiving touchdowns because that wasn't enough.
Yeah, super impressive.
Yeah, another nasty release.
Very good release. Yep.
High school tape, so we couldn't see the catch, but we saw that he made
Honestly,
it.
we've definitely seen some worse high school
We have, we
quality of
have.
film. But one thing too, I like that they, they're using him in the motion, they're using him in the screen game, they're using him on deep balls. He's running different routes. We talked about that in other, freshman highlight videos where, seeing them having, multiple routes that they run in high school versus just I'm faster than everybody, I'm more athletic, I'm just going to run straight and run deep, is super nice because you're going to need every tool in your toolbox at the next level, especially in the SEC. When you're playing some of the best defenses week after week.
Yeah, exactly. This is some really nicely curated film because I like how it kind of shows his whole skill set.
Yeah, so if you're a mom or dad that's filming their kid for recruitment, please film like this so we can see
Yeah.
the releases, the catch, the play, the yards after the catch, all of it. Wow, yeah, he's fast. He's definitely he seems faster than his track speed says.
And I think that, most of his track experience was when he was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah,
So we got to take those numbers with a grain of salt too, because
100%.
obviously we get a lot faster between sophomore and senior year typically.
And they love motion them in.
Yeah, they do.
They love this like little stack release. They love motion them in, stack release, and then confuse the DBs.
But that's really valuable, man. When you can work out of the slot, when you can work out wide, I think they can use him kind of similarly to how they use Lad McConkey.
Yeah, 100%. And I really like his route running. I think he's a guy that early on could be a possession type receiver for them too. But he has the athleticism for to make plays after the catch as well. So definitely a good combination of skill set here.
Yeah.
Nice ball by the quarterback. A nice catch. Nice body awareness.
Yeah. I like how he can kind of sit down, and he recognizes the defense and when there's a soft spot in the zone.
Yeah, which is really important. A lot of times in college, wide receivers don't just run, one route. You have kind of multiple variations of a route depending on what the defender shows you. And so it is nice to see him, find the holes in the defense, find the window in the quarterback, and make the catch, and then get some yards after catch after that.
And they did have, a couple of transfers over there at Oregon, but it is still somewhat of an open wide receiver room. So if he's so good that the coaches can't keep him off the field, he will get some opportunity, even as a true freshman, potentially.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm only gonna correct you because it's not a big deal, but he's going to Georgia, just so everybody knows, not Oregon. They do have another stud freshman,
Misspoke, my bad.
stud freshman wide receiver at Oregon there, but definitely agree with Georgia. I mean,
Yeah.
if he joined the team last year, like I would say he could have been a starter last year on that team. If it wasn't for a couple of the better guys they brought in the transfer portal, I would say he would have been in the one or two deep. But I think especially in college, you play 5, 6 wide receivers, so I would be surprised if we don't see him get a decent amount of snaps, especially with how his route running already is shown on tape in high school.
Yeah, they brought over another highly rated recruit when he was coming out in Zachariah Branch, and they also got Noah Thomas from A&M, right? So It'll be an interesting wide receiver room for Gunnar Stockton, first time starting quarterback over there for Georgia. So, a lot, big shoes to fill and high expectations over there. But I like this kid quite a bit, man, and he stands out from a lot of the other prospects that we see because. A lot of these 4-star and 5-star prospects are just guys who are so incredibly athletically gifted, and all of their plays are just, 60-yard bombs or after the catch stuff. But Talyn Taylor really showed like a repertoire of route running, and he varies his release packages, and it's
100%.
very impressive watching him. So really, really like him a lot.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for Talyn Taylor and be on the lookout for future Hive Sports videos. We're going to do more freshman spotlight videos coming up soon, some sophomore spotlight videos as well. So be on the lookout. Please subscribe. Feel free to like this video and comment down below. Give Talyn Taylor a nice compliment. Liked what I saw on tape there, so really excited to see what he does for the Bulldogs in the 2025 season.